Okay, so in this model, we have a cast of what is the ventricular system. And right now we're looking at it from a lateral view. I'm just going to slowly spin it a little bit so we can kind of appreciate each view. And so we're moving to an anterior view here. And if you notice the tape, we had to do a small surgery for this model, so please bear with me. And to continue the rotation here, this is the other lateral view and the posterior view as well. Okay, so now we're going to dive into the anatomy, and what might make sense is from the two lateral views that were mainly preoccupied by this larger structure. It is named the lateral ventricle, as you see the bilateral presentation of the two. And so each lateral ventricle is broken up into specific parts. Let's go over the one here. So on the anterior surface, you have the anterior horn, okay? And as we move a little bit posterior to that, we have what is known as the central part of the ventricle. And then we have kind of a divergence into these two horns, being the inferior horn, located right here, and the posterior horn, or occipital horn, okay? And so as the lateral ventricle produces and holds CSF, or cerebral spinal fluid, it'll drip into what is known as the third ventricle, which is located right here, by that interventricular foramen, just that connection. And we're gonna just spin it a little bit too to the anterior so you can see it a little bit better. That's located right there. So once again, lateral ventricle draining into the third ventricle by that interventricular foramen right here. Okay, and so this whole structure here is that third ventricle, and we have a nice little hole in it, which is the interthalamic adhesion, and that allows kind of information spreading between the two thalamic regions. And so back to a posterior view, again, the third ventricle, still right here, is going to drain down into what is known as the cerebral aqueduct. And you might appreciate that it's very thin and is often prone to being occluded and would cause a backflow or buildup of CSF. And so the third ventricle through the cerebral aqueduct will lead us to our final destination, which is our fourth ventricle. Just this whole structure here. And you may also notice that this is lined with all this pink. Looks like gum, but it's not. It's actually choroid plexus. And so that'll be what produces the cerebral spinal fluid. You can see it lining each one of the ventricles. And that's it.